Imagine being isolated on a desolate island surrounded by sharp rocks, violent waves, and absolute silence. Now imagine that one day you simply disappear. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, no traces. This is the true story of three men serving at a lighthouse on the Flannan Isles in Scotland who mysteriously vanished in 1900. More than 120 years later, no one has been able to explain what really happened. But perhaps today you will get closer to the truth. The mystery of the three lighthouse keepers, the disappearance on the Flannan Isles. The Flannan Isles are a remote archipelago located about 32 kilometers off the west coast of Scotland. Completely uninhabited, these islands are known for their steep cliffs, unstable weather, and a landscape that seems to have been frozen in time. In 1899, the construction of a lighthouse on the main island, Flannan Moor, was completed. The goal was to warn ships about the dangers of the nearby rocks. Due to the isolation, the lighthouse was operated by three lighthouse keepers on a rotating basis, while a fourth remained on leave on the mainland. At the time, the lighthouse keepers were experienced, disciplined men, accustomed to hard work and the severe conditions of the North Sea. But in December 1900, this seemingly secure system collapsed in the face of an event that still defies logic today. And the more we investigate, the more layers of mystery emerge. And you will discover them now. The arrival at Flannan Moor. On December 15, 1900, the supply ship Hesperus set sail from the mainland towards the lighthouse to deliver supplies and perform the rotation of the lighthouse keepers. But due to bad weather, the trip was delayed for a few days. The ship only managed to dock at Flannan Moor on December 26th. As they approached, the crew noticed something strange. No signs of life, no flag hoisted, no lighthouse keeper in sight. Just silence. Captain Jim Harvey sounded the horn and fired flares. Nothing, not a wave, not a response. It was as if the island was empty. The alarm was raised, and the sailor Joseph Moore was the first to set foot on the island. What he found would shock all of Scotland. The investigation begins upon entering the lighthouse. Moore found the door locked from the inside. He forced his way in. Inside, everything seemed apparently normal. There were dishes on the table, partially prepared food in the kitchen, a chair fallen on the floor of the main room. But none of the three lighthouse keepers were there. Two of the men's heavy coats were missing, but the third was still hanging on the hook. This indicated that, at the very least, one of them had left in a hurry, without protecting himself against the brutal cold of the island. But why? In the lighthouse log recorded by Thomas Marshall, there were mentions of a fierce storm. But meteorological records show that on those days, the sea was calm. This raises a question. Were the records tampered with? Or did the lighthouse keepers really witness something that no one else saw? And why did this storm appear only in their records? The search for answers. The searches began immediately. No bodies were found, no evidence of struggle, invasion, or attempt to escape. An official theory stated that a giant wave, a rogue wave, had hit the island and dragged the men into the sea. But this raises an important question. Why would all three be outside the lighthouse at the same time? It was strictly forbidden for all three to leave the post simultaneously. Another possibility was ventured. One of the men may have gone mad, killed the other two, and then thrown himself into the sea. But there was no blood, marks of violence, or any indication of a fight at the scene. The families rejected this hypothesis, and other lighthouse keepers who had worked with the missing men also stated that all were mentally stable and experienced. Investigators also considered an underwater earthquake, which could have caused a vibration and dragged the men as they tried to check the damage. But this does not explain the absence of any trace. Not even a hat or tool was found on the rocks. Theories and legends. Over time and without concrete answers, the theories began to become increasingly strange. Some say that the 3 lighthouse keepers were abducted by extraterrestrial beings. Others believe they were taken by some supernatural entity from the sea, like the legendary Selkies of Scottish mythology, creatures that live in the ocean and take human form. There are also those who believe that the island houses some kind of time vortex or dimensional anomaly. After all, we are talking about an inhospitable, remote place where time seems to move differently. Could the lighthouse keepers have been swallowed by something that we simply cannot comprehend? Others explore ancient legends. They say the island was cursed and that ancient peoples avoided setting foot there. Some say it is a sacred Celtic site where ancient spirits still wander. Were the lighthouse keepers victims of a presence that expelled them forever? The mystery still alive. Since then, the mystery of the Flannan Isles has never been solved. The lighthouse continued to operate for many years, but the lighthouse keepers who came after reported strange experiences, unexplained sounds during the night, mysterious lights over the sea, and the constant feeling of being watched. Some teams even reported hearing voices whispering their names and footsteps that seemed to come from empty corridors. Today, the lighthouse is automated. No humans live there anymore. But to this day, the question remains, what really happened to James Duquette, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur? This disappearance has inspired books, films, and even a song by the British group Genesis called The Mystery of Flannan Isles Lighthouse. More than that, the case has become a symbol of the unknown, of that which neither logic nor science nor time can explain. There are filmmakers who visited the island and returned claiming to have experienced time lapses. Others said they felt a strange pressure in the air, as if the environment resisted human presence. To this day, researchers and the curious risk visiting Eileen Moore in search of answers, and all return with more questions. And perhaps this is the true power of mysteries, to remind us that no matter how much we try to understand everything, there are still places where the inexplicable reigns. And you, which theory seems most plausible to you? Was it a tragic accident caused by the force of nature, a rupture in reality, or something far beyond our comprehension? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you like mysterious stories like this, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Here, each video reveals a new piece of the unknown. See you in the next mystery, if you dare. The mystery of the Flannan Isles, still unanswered.